Hail Zamint. Peace, guys and goddess. Uh, this video here is gonna be about what I call white contradictions. You understand? Um, the actions that the white race has partaken in are so psychologically impactful upon themselves. You understand that they are essentially so I guess you can say paranoid in a sense of that happening to them. You understand? In a way, they live in a world in which, because of their own actions, they project this internal fear onto the world. Um, the first part of this is about terrorism. Okay, the white race, you understand, has built its entire empire on terrorism, both international and domestic. You understand? This is again, this is why they're so heavy on combating terrorists. You understand? This is why they're so heavy on pushing for protective measures against terrorist acts against themselves. You understand? Because this is the very way that they have built the empire. Okay, and terrorism can be defined as the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, particularly against civilians, to coerce or influence governments or societies. Perpetrators use these calculated acts, such as bombings, kidnappings, and cyber attacks, to instill widespread fear, thereby pursuing political, religious, or ideological goals. Now, it goes without saying that that very definition, the bombings, the kidnapping, these are all things that the white race has participated in. Specifically, we are talking about here against the black population here in America. Okay? Now, the reason that I essentially bring this up is because once again, you know, I see that it is almost for most of the black population here in America, it is almost as if uh, you are unable to grasp who these people are. You are unable to grasp the depth of what they have done to you and what they continue to do. You are unable to grasp the unruly way of life that they live by. You are unable to grasp the true nature of what these people are, of who they are, and what they have showed you and what they continue to show you. It is it is the psychological weakness of allowing someone to have committed an act upon you and then project such action, such thoughts upon you and say that you are the animal, that you are the violent one, that you are the beast, that you are the monster, when they are in fact the ones who built their entire empire on the very things that they scold you and say that you are doing. You understand? It is so much, I wouldn't even say confusion. It is almost as if this population here in America refuses to accept the very person that they're sleeping next to. You understand that the very person who spreads this narrative about them, you eat it up. You understand? They post a news article about some young black man or etc., and you eat it up. You eat it up as if you do not know what they have done and what they do. You understand? They live a very contradictory life. You know, they go around preaching this sense of justice and patriotism when in fact they are a terrorist. This is exactly what they have. This is how they have built their empire. Not just against us, against the natives of America, against every other people across the world. They have terrorized, you understand? And they continue to do so. But they do it in a way where they project it onto you and they make you believe that you are the terrorist. They make you believe that your cause is this unworthy cause, this violent cause, this cause that has no real spiritual nutrition to it. You understand? I mean, look at how they paint Somalia. Somalian pirates only existed because of people coming to poach their land and poach their waters. You understand? And kill off their fish. Do you understand? But when the Somalian pirates begin to stop ships from coming in and begin to quote unquote terrorize the ships that come through their waters because they know that they are tainting and killing off their very food supply within that water. They call them terrorists. You understand? White people live a contradictory life, and they have you believing in that contradiction. Do you understand? They have you believing that you are the savage. They have you believing that you are the monster. You understand? They say that they are going to uh, wage a war on drugs, but then you have pharmacists. You understand that? Do you understand the contradictory life in which they live? White people basically live, breathe, and eat drugs. Do you understand that? Yes, it may not be in a little baggie. You understand? It may not be from some unruly guy off the street. They might go get it from a guy in a white coat and things of that nature, but they are doing drugs often. White people are psychotic. Do you understand that? The amount of psychotic drugs that these people are on 24/7 around you, but they tell you that you are the monster. But they tell you that you are the savage, and they tell you that you are the terrorist. They have hung us, okay? They have fed our children to alligators and to God knows they fed our children to themselves. You understand that? Do you understand that they bomb churches constantly? Do you understand that? Going through black neighborhoods, burning everything down and killing anything in sight. Do you understand that? Do you understand that they would go up to the courthouse, a court of law, and stop you, black man, from going in there and voting? Anything like that. These are terrorist acts, and they have the world eating out of their hands as they commit terrorist acts around the world. When do you stop believing in a contradictory life? When do you stop allowing the very person that is committing acts of terror against you continue to call you the terrorist? When will you wake up and realize who you are dealing with? When will you wake up and realize that? When will you stop being so surprised? Stop thinking with so much emotion and understand the enemy in which that you deal with and begin to think with logic and begin to administer consequence and begin to have your own faith and your mission and in your plan. When do you begin to do that? When? When do you begin to think for yourself? When do you begin to see yourself in your own light in which that you create for yourself and stop viewing yourself through the eyes of a terrorist? When do you stop viewing yourself through the eyes of the American terrorist?